Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to the Last Epoch dev stream. As always, I'm your host, Mike. Hello, welcome back. Fancy seeing you here. We are starting a new little series of dev stream builds that I'd like to showcase on the stream here. We've got some really awesome builds coming through our community. And there's a few of them that I realized I've never actually even tried myself properly. You know, you mess around with them as you're making it, and you kind of cheat some characters in like the development process and everything to, like, you know, just get the ball rolling when you're actually making everything, making sure all the skill combinations work, making sure all the nodes work and everything. But I've never actually like played a character through the campaign and story and everything of some of these builds and through the end game. So what I've decided to do is over the next about 5-6 weeks, probably somewhere in that range, I'm going to be taking just one-shot weeks on a bunch of builds that I've never tried before. Or if I have, it's been a long time and they've changed a lot of things like that. So this week, I don't even know who made this build. Someone awesome made this build. I don't know who it is. I'm sorry. I pulled the link from one of Perry the Pig's YouTube videos recently, and exclamation mark build in chat will bring up a link to the build that I am using. But I'll just give you a quick rundown right now, and we're using static, mana strike, flame ward, surge, and enchant weapon, and we're basically just, you know, surge for mobility, triggering static and mana strike and stuff for damage, and everything's awesome. Yeah, it's a ton of fun. I played around with it a little bit. I haven't played too much. I did a couple monoliths just to get my feet under me before we start this, but we're just gonna hop right in. I also basically copied the gear from the build guide as close as I could. My gear is significantly worse than the build guide, but it's roughly similar. And I'm also a few levels under what the build guide was. I'm only 81 here. So yeah, we're gonna hop into this monolith. We're gonna do a few little monolith runs, and then I think I'm gonna go try and so the build guide had a 2 legendary potential Quicksilver coil. So I put that on there too, and I'm gonna hopefully find a exalted ring at some point to make this legendary. That's my goal for this stream, is to just make this into a legendary at some point. Yeah. Have some fun with it. So if this is your first time here on stream, please put at Last Epoch Game in, or it's just been a while, you don't remember, put at Last Epoch Game before your question, and I'll be happy to answer it. All of our, it's first stream of the month, because last week I was Canada Day and did not stream, so we've got a new charity we're supporting this week. And we're doing we're supporting oceans. Yeah, oceans are great. So we've got a charity that helps oceans. Oceans are really important. So yeah, that's what I might be a little over geared for this this monolith. Oh no, did I not figure that out? I went and tried to fight Lagon with this, and it was extremely dicey. So I figured this would be a good space to start. Almost exactly right level. I might be over geared. I may well, let's see what's, just try and like zip through this. A little overpowered apparently. Whoops. Oh well. Let's get some questions while I figure out what I'm gonna do. You get to live your melee Sork fantasy finally? Yes. I have not done melee Sork on stream, and I love it so much. The little bit I tried this build was a lot of fun. It had a tough time with Lagon, I will say that. That was a slog of a fight. But I'm probably just doing something wrong, or, you know, Lagon's notoriously buggy. It didn't like something with this. Car alarm going on outside. Great. I hope you can't hear it. If you can, let me know and I'll do something about it. But it's really hot. I don't want to close my garage door. Stat doesn't hit Lagon. Oh yeah, that's why I was having such a tough time with the fight. What's your endurance threshold at? Matters a lot. Yeah, okay, my endurance threshold is 500. I went pretty hard on the endurance with the gear. You want to see what the gear I'm using is? It's pretty good. The gear is quite good. It's not a lot in the way of exalteds, but like they're rares that are kitted out rares. So you know, like we're pretty good here. I was trying to fix my resistances with our gems here a little bit, our gems idols, because our resistances are a little lacking in a few spots. So we're not really set here, but we've got, you know, we've got the chops to make it in this cruel world. I know you've only heard this a few times in some form, but are you planning on waiting till 1.0 to release the third class specs warlock? So there's a little like, oh, watching without video. That's what that icon means. Oh, cool. I don't know if you're watching without video. I don't know if you can hear this answer. So if you can't, someone may have to type it out to you. But I guess you'd be listening. Sorry, never seen that logo before. The new mastery classes, Warlock, Rune Master, and Falconer, will arrive by 1.0 at the latest. They may arrive before 1.0, they may arrive at 1.0, they may not arrive together, they may arrive all together. I do not have any more information other than each of them will at some point arrive at or before 1.0. And unfortunately, until there's like a big update on the matter, that's going to be the same answer I give every single time. Just some advice, endurance threshold scales much higher in exalted tiers, yes, than even normal modifiers do, so it's imperative to get T6, T7. Yeah, I was trying not to go too hard on the gear, because I wasn't going straight up to, like, empowered monoliths. I guess I could do something, but, yeah, I wanted to keep it reasonable. I might go straight into some dungeons here, because this is I'm kind of just cruising here. Oh, a little challenge here. Welcome everyone from Lone Star McFluffin stream. Glad to have you with us. Hope you're having a wonderful day. Oh, what do we got here? Oh, Titan's Heart. Not too bad. Oh, a little exalted relic too. Alright. I also even have loot filters set up. To like point out gear that's like really fits the build. Yeah. So if anything drops red, like, oh, the loot filter's not turned on. What did I call it? Where's my build? Where's my loot filter? Oh, there it is. Nice. Cool. Alright, there we go. And because I did that, I have to put mana strike points back in. They came out of this. Crap, I didn't see this as well. Cool. Yeah, that was a little... Well, let's just... I guess we'll do one more. And maybe it'll get harder as we scale up, because they will get harder. Hello, everybody. Yeah, so next week I'm going to... I haven't played an Acolyte on stream in a long time. And so next week I'm going to be playing an Acolyte build, and I'm open to suggestions. Maybe something... I think Lichy... I haven't played a Lich on stream in forever. Possibly even just ever. So I think I want to play a Lich build. If someone has a cool one that they'd like me to try, I'd even be open to, like... just playing someone's character on stream. Mostly because I'm lazy and that saves me time of having to put this together. Yeah, we definitely need to get into some harder ones quick, because this is just a joke right now. Oh, I see a couple questions here. Don't forget to put at Last Epoch Game in the question I'll answer. It says, good afternoon, when does multiplayer start for us? And I don't have a set answer for that because we don't know yet. We are, just gonna double check before I say this. You know, it's one of those things where you're like, give me 1 second, I'll figure it out. Where is this? There it is. There's so many channels here. Okay, so yeah, we are going to start onboarding new people into the community tester program on Monday. So if you have applied and you don't hear anything on Monday, don't worry. That doesn't mean anything bad. It's just we're starting on Monday. it's a process. So the first little bit's going out then, but do not feel discouraged if you don't hear anything on Monday. Just wanted to tell you that the process is moving forward. We're not sitting on our butts. There we go. Question: are you satisfied with how dungeons currently structured? Unique mechanic, go through doors, add modifiers, boss fight, or do you think there's room for experimentation? I yes and yes. I am very happy with how they are right now. I thought it was, I guess we knew going in that things would change a little bit, and I think things will change a little bit too. But I am really happy with how they've started, and I'm excited to see where we end up with them. I think there's going to be that general same structure is going to stay pretty darn similar. We'll probably see some changes here and there to various things. Like I think the rough structure though of like there's like a self-contained smallish challenge that acts as a unique experience with structured mechanics and an extra ability, like that core thing that really means like this is a dungeon. I don't think that's going anywhere. I love how it's working out, which is great. I wonder how fast I can push through a few of these just to get something a little harder. Because I'm playing on the official version, so I can't just dev console. Dungeon bad. Oh, that's... Sorry. Sorry you think that. Dario gives 100 bits. You're waiting for your 6 leaks today. Did I say 6? I must not have said 6. I have... I'll meet you in the middle from last week. How about that? You've talked a few times about needing to delay 09 if trade is to be implemented. I was really... So I see where you're coming from there, and I was really trying to be careful about the way I worded those questions, those things, because I've said that a few times on like Reddit and the Discord, and what I think every time I've said it, what I've said is, hypothetically, if you had to delay multiplayer to get trade in, would you want that? And I was really trying to word it in such a way that I'm not saying we have to delay it to get that in or not, but if it came down to that, I was trying to gauge the importance of that feature, because a delay is a big deal, and if it's worth a delay to you, it's really important, generally. So I'll read the rest of that question here. Do you know approximately how long the delay would be? No, assuming the most basic possible implementation. Yeah, and this is the other thing as well, is that I think there's a lot of misconceptions about how easy a basic implementation is. The most basic implementation requires a complete restructuring of every single item and item system in the game. And there's a lot of things that you're like, well, obviously it wouldn't affect that. It does. Blessings are items. It would affect blessings. Yeah, like, it wouldn't affect them very much. That'd be a really quick thing to do. But that portion would be one of the smallest portions, but it would be affected. Like, there's an insane amount of things that have to be changed, because the entire way just like an item is serialized. So what that means is like when you have a bunch of when you have like an object in the game world, like this health potion, that's a bad example. This rune quill. So it has all these properties on it, and that gets converted into a string of numbers that represents that information. So it condenses that information that's then read by the game. And this is how we can actually update items without, like when we update the game, we can change items, because we just tell the game to interpret the way an item is saved differently, and it will effectively change the item, even though the actual item itself doesn't change. The way the game reads that piece of data changes. So we have to change the way that data is even stored to make trading possible. Yeah, how messed up is that? And yeah, there's a lot that goes into it. So it's really not a matter of like, oh well, we just don't want to have trade or anything like that. It's a matter of like, how much time and effort does this take? Is it possible without making massive changes? You know. So I don't have a. Yes, Monday 7:10. Sorry. Where are you? But yeah, so I don't have a specific how much a hypothetical delay could be for that. Sorry. Where am I? What are questions? Warlock, please. This is not a question. It's a demand. I'm holding you at gunpoint. Well, I hope it's a water gun filled with like. Oh, filled with something obscure like pineapple juice. You know, so it's given long enough, it will like eat away at like the enzymes in it will like eat away at you. So like it's dangerous if you're left with it for a year. I'm just gonna rip through this. Hopefully I can get to the point where I'm actually working hard for my money. We'll go do a dungeon too as well.
I cannot do that.
Come on, try harder. I'm sure you can. Lemon juice in your eyes. There you go. Yeah. It's uncomfortable and annoying, but given long enough, it could cause moderate damage. Bah. Oh no, won't you think of the children? Did I miss the 09 release announcement? No, you did not miss the 09 release announcement. When we eventually make that announcement, it will be at the top of our forums and Reddit and Discord and Facebook and Twitter, and I'll be saying it every 10 seconds on stream. No, we've not announced specifics about that yet. I wonder why that got hidden. Oh, I hid. Okay. Yeah, we're just gonna show all item. Nope, rarity. There we go. Drag that down. Any leaks today? Not yet. I guess, kind of. I said that we're going to be starting our onboarding process for the CT program on Monday. It's the only thing we've said so far. I got some more stuff though. I do. I'm ready. I came prepared today. I got a character build. I got like a link to it. It's even in the command, in the chat command. Loot filter set up for it. Poorly set up for it, but you know, I cannot do that. Whoever's build that is, Nice. I like it.
I cannot do that.
Alright, as a follow-up, are you happy with how dungeon keys are acquired? Do you think a method to deterministically target the key you want would be detrimental even if it has a steep cost? No, we have one planned. Yeah, we have a way planned that you'll be able to, like, you'll say I want that specific key and you'll get it. Like there's costs to it, obviously, but I don't think they're that steep really. I think part of what happened, and this is kind of the issue of being in an early access state and not resetting on major changes, is that a lot of people were granted the ability to go into dungeons with dozens of characters that were ready to do it, but needed the keys for each one. And so you're like, I want to do like 50 dungeon runs. I gotta go find 50 keys right now before I can do this. And it's this imbalance of like as you're leveling up a character, and as that character was getting to the point where it's ready to do a ton of dungeon runs, you would have found some keys. Oh yeah, I got a haircut. You may have noticed that I'm not gigantically hairy anymore. The wife took the clippers out and lopped off my mane. So nice. It feels like the temperature of the planet just went down by like 5 degrees. Oh, so great. That's what it feels like for me. Oh, there's a question that wasn't tagged. Let me find that. Hi, Last Epoch. I was wondering if you thought of when you start league structure like PoE, like organized structures like that. Yeah, well that structure will kind of start at launch. So launch will happen. It'll be in its own cycle. We will. I don't know why I'm exploring the map. Launch will happen. It'll be in its own cycle, and then after that, there'll be like when the next major patch hits, there'll be a new cycle. You know, and we'll continue on that way. And I guess like when 0.9 releases, it will be online and everyone will start from scratch anyway. So it kind of starts then even a little bit.
I cannot do that.
I doubt there'll be a new cycle start. This is speculation, pure speculation here. I doubt there will be a new cycle start between 0.9 and 1. It'll probably be like a single cycle between like all of the 0.9 and like everything that's in 0.9, between 0.9 and 1.0 will probably be a single cycle, I think. We might that'll be something we have to decide as it's happening. We might do one to like practice that sort of rollout and everything. There's a little blue card on my desk that's like a leftover of supports from a 3D print that I did, and I keep glancing down at it. It looks like my phone is ringing. It's like the same size as my phone. My phone's not even over there. Oh, there we go. Nice idle. Also, you'll be happy to know that I fixed the problem with my headset. Ah, so good. So good. Alright, it's Perry the Pigs. Oh, it's Perry the Pigs build! Cool, I got it off Perry the Pigs video, but I couldn't remember if that one was specifically his build or not. So, that's cool! It was a video Perry the Pig released recently that was like, there's a bunch of builds from a lot of different people who make builds, and they're all just like fun builds to play. Not necessarily the most powerful, but just fun. And I'm like, yeah, that's exactly the sort of stuff I want to play on stream. So I'm gonna take a few from there. I want to do Acolyte next week, and Lizard just released his first like build guide. It was also in that video as well, so I'm gonna play the Bow Mage. Or spell mage, spell. No, whatever the term for it people are using. Using Reign of Winter as a marksman to cast a bunch of spells. Pretty sure bow mage is the term that's been coined. I don't know, that sounded weird to me. I'm always gigantically hairy. Thank you. That means so much to me. I work hard at it. Your hair actually starts, like, it was long enough I could put it in a top knot. I didn't. But it was long enough that I could have, and it gets to the point where you're like, I am using a noticeably larger amount of, like, hair products. Definitely need to cut it at that point.
I cannot do that.
This is fun. Just you know, just chill crushing stuff. Gliding through the world. Love it. I want to get some harder stuff, so I'm gonna rush to some harder stuff here. Oh, what am I doing? Any build recommendations for farming monoliths as an early game player? There's lots of great stuff out there. I would check out lastepochtools.com. There's a build section, a build guide section that's brand new, so people are just starting to populate that. But there's a lot of good stuff in there. Warpath is really great. Starter builds. There's a lot of great starter builds you can do. My advice would be try and pick something that doesn't have specific uniques required, or you just happen to have the right unique for it already. Alright, here we go. Let's make sure I didn't miss much. Yeah, here we go. Hi Mike, hope you're good. I am, thank you. Any chance we can get more hit effect or runes that are independent of class item? For example, I'd like to be able to have a chance to chain lightning or something of a melee hit on or something off a melee item on hit, or chance to spawn meteors on kill, independent of class. Could be consumable item to grant it to combo conditional and combo of conditional and trigger runes. I kind of fumbled through that. I'm not quite sure what that the details there. I think there's some like terminology that's a little bit from other games seeping in there, possibly, which is totally fine. I think... Oh, it's this way. It's this guy. Gotcha. I can't run from you. We try really hard to have... When an ability triggers, if it is an ability that a player can cast, we try and have it use the player's skill tree for it. Now, if you had an item that was like cast lightning blast on melee attack, right? But you're a sentinel. That lightning blast is an unspecialized lightning blast, and it's gonna be kind of crappy. So yeah, and then when something is not going to be specializable, so it's a skill like Alluvian's Wave on the sword there, we know that it's not going to be specialized, so we don't have to balance it with the assumption that it's going to be specialized. So I can see putting things like triggers for abilities like that on things, onto unique items, but it's unlikely that they'd be classless class abilities. So classless items that proc class abilities, if that makes any sense. Or if they were, like, I mean, I'm sure maybe we've done this before already, and I can't think of an example. But when we do that, it's for everyone other than the class that can cast that ability normally, it's gonna be pretty crappy, you know? And we try not to set people up for failure. So creating an item like that, where it's like this item is balanced around it being specializable. So like say we had a sword that cast lightning blast. Let's just stick with it. Lightning blast on attack, on hit. Sorry. And as a spellblade, you could use that to like trigger chain lightning and get like a ton of synergies with it to make it really strong. So you have to balance it around those synergies and those specializations. And then you get it on your sentinel, and you're like, it hits like a wet noodle, and this sucks. So you're like really disappointed when you try and build the item. And we've just set you up for failure because there's probably nothing you could do about it. and so we try to avoid doing things like that if we can. I hope that makes sense. So, like, and sometimes we do, like, it's basically the same ability, and sometimes it is the same ability actually, or like a copied version of the same ability, but we call it something different. So, like, maybe instead of calling it Lightning Blast, we actually call it Chain Lightning, and it doesn't proc Lightning Blast that triggers Lightning Blast's effects, but maybe it triggers a new ability called Chain Lightning, that has built-in, like, it does more damage than Lightning Blast at base, and has, like, the chains already built in, so it's kind of like a pre-specialized version of Lightning Blast, if that makes any sense. So, like, yeah, sometimes we can do things like that, and then just, like, give incentives for it to be on mage. So you can do something like, oh, it comes with +1 level to I don't know, elemental skills. And it's like, a mage can take advantage of that more than anyone, but everyone can take advantage of it in some way. So we just sort of, like, nudge people in that, like, this is really a mage item, but, I mean, if you want to use it on your sentinel, sure, go ahead. It'll work, at least. Are you guys going to add mechanics for each cycle? Not exactly clear on what every single cycle is going to bring with it. We kind of feel like we've been practicing a little bit for cycles in our patches. Like, I know this is a big gap here in patch, but usually we've been every few months, every 3-4 months, we've been doing a patch. Tons of new content comes out. There's new stuff to do, new ways to build your character, all sorts of fun stuff that comes with each patch, and that's sort of like us practicing and preparing for the style of stuff we want to do in cycles. But it's also experimentation, so there might be a patch that a cycle that we start, and we're gonna put a really specific cycle. Thank you. I put a really specific. I completely forgot about that. Really specific mechanic into that cycle, and then maybe we don't do it the next time. So we're still working on exactly how that's going to look and what it's going to do. If you have specific thoughts or feedback or suggestions on it, please head on over to our forums and leave us a post. We'd be happy to read it. If the release goes south, hopefully not, and a lot of unexpected and problematic stuff is happening, are you planning to solve existing problems, or do you have some set way to follow? Some recent releases have pretty crazy exploits and bugs in their game and didn't do anything about it for weeks. I'm a bit sick of these approaches. We have there's some people that have joined our team in the last couple of years that have a lot of experience doing live releases of games like this, and they know a lot more about the best way to handle a lot of these things than I do. I will say that we do spend a lot of time on improving our release pipeline, our build and release pipeline. And so what that means is we spend a lot of time trying to make it so that we can push out a patch really fast. So if something goes catastrophically wrong, our ability to respond and react to that is something that we practice, and that's part of what we want to do in our 0.9 to 1.0 process is practice releasing those quick patches, those quick little patches with this, and getting that downtime down as little as possible. I think the goal was in the last development update Stanswar put out. I think he said 3 hours was our goal for downtime. And that's like, to be clear, that's we've issued a fix. Server goes down. 3 hours later, server comes up. Would be like our first initial benchmark that we want to hit. I think that's what it was. I please don't quote me on that. I think there's Go read the development update post from I think last month. It's got details on that are accurate. But yes, we do think it's really important to be able to react quickly, patch fast, and I know what you're referring to and getting at, and I think I know what you're referring to, but they've since solved that problem, I think. And I mean, it's we pay attention a lot to what's going on in the market and the industry, and see what we can learn from other people's games and releases and things they've done well, and all these things. So yeah, it's definitely important to us. I can't guarantee specific like, oh, if something happens, this is what we'll do for sure. Every single problem is so specific that we have to be able to adapt to the situation quickly, and certain things may cause different solutions to happen, you know, like, yeah. Nothing. That's cool. You're Naki404, you're currently playing Bow Mage? Awesome. I hope you're having fun with it. Oh, super fun. Yeah. Glad you're having fun with it. Mike, I just remember when I applied for CT, there was no region for the place where I play. Can that determine the choice for me to be accepted? Maybe? I think, please, I'm not part of this process directly. I think the plan, or the hope, is to get people from varied regions, like, so we can see how performance is somewhere that's maybe less heavily populated, or less common to see people from that region playing our game, and see how the performance is when you're playing with people from more popular regions, and so that's really important to us. So if you had just put in the description, said I didn't have if you just said there was no region, so I didn't put one, or I put something else and this is my actual region, it's fine. Even if you didn't say that, I don't think it'll be that big of a deal. Bowmage is a well-known and loved build because it doesn't have a unreasonable cooldown attached to it. Do you think about removing or lowering huge cooldown on items like Illuvian to make it playable, for example? We haven't talked about that one recently, but there was some reason. Does it have hard CC built into it? That might be the reason why it's got. Usually, why there's large cooldowns on things is because of hard CC attached to it. I don't think it does though, does it? That would be the main reason that would come to mind for it. It may also just not be very strong. Sometimes things need to get rebalanced as they're older items. But yeah, it's not unreasonable. I'm sure it can be looked at. Are you guys considering making the game free to play later after 1.0? The plan currently, I mean, anything can change, so who knows. The plan currently is to keep our exact same pricing structure the way it is right now. So $35 American. I'm sure it's different in different regions. It's a little bit more expensive in Canada, but it's converted, it's basically the same. And if you buy the game, you have the game and all the updates that come with it, and there's no subscription fees. That's our current plan. It's our current model. It's what we do now, and then we do plan on continuing to support the game through really strictly cosmetic only, no convenience pay, no feature pay, no power pay. No, I'm saying this wrong. No paying for power, no paying for features, no paying for convenience. Just cosmetic, strictly MTX. which is what the plan has been for many years. We originally had a higher sticker price associated with it, but we dropped it down, I think. Oh yeah, I do have some blessings. I forgot. But yeah, here's a preview of what the cosmetics will generally roughly look like-ish. That window's changing as well. All right. Next question. The part of having it, I saw a couple things about comments on the pricing structure. Part of the reason we have the pricing structure the way it is, there's a lot of different reasons for it. I really don't want to go too deep into why all those reasons are. There's a lot of things. Oh hey, oh hey. Frontrunner for our Exalted to make a legendary item, a big time. Well, one or two more, we can go fight the boss, hopefully. Baldur's Wrath on a non-primalist feels bad. Yeah, okay, there's a good example, actually. Really waiting for a new update, the new model for Forge Guardian. That's Manifest Armor, not Forge Guardian. Looks awesome, good job, thank you. Chain lightning needs to chain better ammo. It feels like it cannot chain freely like it has to chain a certain way. That makes sense. It doesn't have anything. There is a node that restricts it to that. That like forces it to chain forward. So maybe check to see if you've got that node. I think it's in the bottom right corner. Question mark? I guess I could just look. I've got the skill tree. Where is it? Where is it? The first ability, obviously, Mike. Half maximum chains, forker chain. Let me get rid of that one. We may have got rid of that node. There are some nodes in there that like charge up, so the first few hits don't chain, and as it builds up, they start to chain more. Possible that could be involved. I just read on a forum and I know it is. I just read on a forum and I know it is working that you can bypass playing the game. Laura Vici, I am aware of this.
I cannot.
Do like Blizzard Entertainment used to do back in the day, steal ideas that works and implement them to your own game recipe for success? It's so hard to like, the timeline it takes to implement some ideas is a lot longer than you might expect. Way more than once we've had things that we've like written out and been like, okay, well, like here's a cycle idea for the future, and and PoE launches a cycle that's like almost identical. We're like, no, we can't do it. So like that's happened a lot more than once. And I think the big difference is that because we're so much smaller compared to them, it's hard to do something like that. And just in general, you know, I would be surprised if a lot of those times that they didn't already have those things in the works. type thing, or like design documents previously created for them. And it's happened the other way too. Like both us and Path of Exile have released mechanics that are in the other's game. And I'd be shocked if anything we've ever done was actually directly taken by PoE from us like that. I bet it was just like they had it in development the same time we did, and like ours just came out a little bit first, or theirs just came out a little bit first. Like, it happens a lot. And sometimes we've stopped features or stopped certain things, partially because like we're like, okay, well, we're like 2 years away from this, so never mind. But if we've already got it like in development or whatever, we'll just roll with it. I guess what I'm saying is, I don't know if they actually stole ideas. I like to think they didn't. Alright. First time check. Sorry, this has been asked a million times, but is there a date for multiplayer yet? No. I need to request the time off for work, lol. We don't have a date for it, I'm sorry. I hope you're in a I hope you're in a position where you can take time off work comfortably and it's not a problem for you, and you're not prioritizing us over something more important. But yeah, it's we still don't have a date yet. Basically, as soon as it's ready, we're just gonna flip the switch. But it's not ready yet. All right.
I cannot.
Let's go. Run. Ba 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 ba. That probably loops around from the bottom, eh? Or it might go from the top. Can't remember. It's been a while. I kind of wish Chain Lightning would work as it does in Path of Exile, but it is what it is. Yeah. It's pretty similar. I know it's a little different, but... we can make it work that way. MTX coming in 1.0 at the latest. I don't have a timeline for MTX stuff. I know some people started working on some UI recently, but super duper not done. Oh, spicy girl there. Yulia, caught me off guard. So there's a this is the question. I'm just gonna read it out. The answer is no. It's confirmed, question mark, 0710 MP and Falcon or Warlock, etc. No. 710, we're going to start the onboarding process for people into the community tester program. That does not mean that they'll have immediate access to multiplayer. We don't have a multiplayer test running right now. So the community testers don't have access to multiplayer at the moment. But we're just going to start getting people into that program so that, because that doesn't happen just like all at once. We're not just like, all right, invite a bunch of people right now, go. It happens that people trickle in, and we want to get everyone into the Discord server for it and familiarized with what's going to happen and everything, and then we'll start a multiplayer test. So it's going to be, we're starting the initial onboarding process for community testers on Monday. And then after that, at some point, we'll start a multiplayer test for those people and the existing community testers as well. And then also Falconer, Warlock, and Runemaster are not coming. You won't have access to those in that. They're not going to be available at 0.9. They're coming sometime after 0.9 and by 1.0 at the latest. So there's really clear. I just want to be really clear. Very much no to that question. You want to be a tester but can't keep your mouth shut so it wouldn't work? I appreciate your honesty with it. Let me just go see what I'm supposed to be putting my passives into. Because I'm not sure. This thing I'm pretty sure is what I got 3 more points. Yeah. I'll finish that off. Alright. Let's get it going. Once you do the boss, I got a teaser for you. And then we're going to go do a dungeon. Yeah. So these missing classes will be available for 1.0. The missing classes will be available sometime between 0.9 and 1.0, inclusive on the back half of that statement. So sometime after 0.9 and at 1.0 at the latest, the missing classes will be involved. So it's possible they could be before 1.0, but they'll be for sure by 1.0 at the latest. New Master early 2023 then? I appreciate the effort to like try and figure out timelines based on relative information, but I'm not going to answer that at all. It's a good try though. Please make mana easier on skills. Every build I play is always out of mana. Well, unfortunately, that is the cost you pay for taking extremely high cost skills. We really designed, like, so we really want to avoid long cooldowns on abilities if possible. So in order to have higher power abilities, and have something you can play around in the moment, is having higher mana costs on certain abilities. We also do make it really, we make it really intentional that there's always like some ability that is free or cheap or can generate mana for you, or things like that you can use in between larger abilities. So you might want to try working in some cheaper abilities alongside the more expensive ones in order to get less mana heavy builds. But we're not just going to drop the mana cost and everything. Sorry.
I cannot do that.
The abyss calls to us. Can't you hear it? Drown in darkness.
This is a really cool build. And I should probably highlight some of what's going on here. So there's a really special unique item. There's a unique item in Last Epoch, in the way it's obtained, called Fractured Crown, and it requires crafting. It requires oh crap! I don't remember how it's made right now. It's the one unique that's made through crafting. It might just be a Rune of Ascendance right now on like specific base types. I think that's what it is. Specific like base types with specific properties. Like there's a really specific case you need for it, but it's really cool, unique. See, it doesn't drop in the world. One shard dropper. Yeah, let's do ones. Well, amulets are good everywhere. Soulfire Bastion key, very nice. And this helmet's really special because what it does is it basically says, okay, you're a mage, you love ward, okay, too bad you don't get any ward. However, damage gets dealt to your mana before it gets dealt to your health. well, percentage of it. So it's like it's like you're turning your health globe or your mana globe into a second health globe in a sense. So you get like it shares that, and then we're using something that generates a ton of mana as we play to just keep our health up. It's kind of like turns this into leech almost, like health leech. It's a neat little thing going on. We're going to send on a Gilded Crown, total of 21 tiers, including sealed and prefix of damage taken from mana and flat mana. There you go. Oh, right. I said, this is the thing, I just go to autopilot. I'm just like, yeah, I'll just play. We are gonna, I got a little teasy boy for you. So here is a early game Sentinel armor set coming out. I think this is like the I think this is like the first set after your starting gear, or the second set after your starting gear of like tiers of how far into the game it is. So it's a little bit, it's a little more subdued, but it's really cool, I think. So here's a Sentinel armor set that we've got. I like being in the shots. I'll turn around for you. Yeah. Remember to drink water. It's important. Oh, yeah. Alrighty. We do have an Exalted Ring here. Let me just flip me over. Thank you very much. Laborious TV has gifted us up to Deuterino. Welcome to the party, bud. Alright, that crit avoidance is looking real juicy as a stat to bring over here. Also the necrotic resistance too, because I'm low on necrotic resistance. That's like one of my lowest ones. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start off by trying to bump the necrotic resistance up, just as high as we can, and then I'm gonna start rolling these into something else because these suck. But we're gonna start getting the necrotic resistance as high as we can, because that's the one we want. Oh, that went great. That went great. Okay, and then we're gonna chaos this into something else. Fizz damage, not great. It is just turning into a really nice ring, not for me, but oh, that used everything too. Wow, that's okay. Hopefully we just hit the latter two, or we find a better Exalted Ring. But that's what we're gonna roll with for now. I think I might just go do it. What do you think? In the in the like the chat window, it capitalizes the TV, but in my like mini feed notifications, it doesn't capitalize the TV, so it looks like just one word. That's what got me. Should we do Soulfire or Lightless Arbor? Let's do Lightless Arbor. Since they're dropping some things. That's nice. I actually started. I have a little page. Aha! These are the rejects of gear I was making. Aha! They're all pretty good though. I should put this in here. Okay. Oh, Mike, you're so bad at this. Why are you doing... Oh, I even had one in my inventory. Oof. There we go. We got there eventually. Spike has reset for a second month in a row. Thank you very much. Glad to have you with us. And I'm on the wrong side.
You can hear me?
Flip back. Yeah, I can hear you. It's pretty wild, right? $65 gonna be easy. We'll just roll through this. I hope. Go to the right door. Do you guys start to take actions against autocast with keyboard bug when multiplayer launches? Oh no. Woo! That was a close one. Oh. Had to sneeze there. Okay, the way we look at it is it's not something that we want to directly punish people for if we can avoid it. Ideally, what we'd like to do instead is have situations where people don't want to do that. So we want to we want to build the systems in such a way that people are not really incentivized to do it in the first place. And so we're still working on improving the abilities that people like to do that with, so that they're less interested in doing it in the first place. It's possible this could change in the future, but we don't really have plans for like banning people who are numlocking or whatever, because there's there's no real way to solve that problem properly by trying to fight it, you know. We put something in where we're like, detect if numlock's held, and just like don't cast an ability if numlock's held, or something like that, or like or if an ability is being pressed on a specific interval, you know, don't do it if it's like detect interval presses. So be like, okay, if the time between button presses is consistent to the point where a human couldn't possibly be doing it, like take action in some way. Okay, so now someone writes an auto hotkey script that has random variance in the button press timing, but it's still close enough together that it hits under the line. Okay, so now don't care about consistency as much, but just that it's always being pressed before the next one's up. Alright, so now we're getting false reports on people that are just spamming the key really fast. And like, there's just so many little problems there at every step of the way, and it's unfortunate for everyone involved. Like, not even just the people who are doing it. It's unfortunate for us having to like combat it. It's unfortunate for the people who aren't doing it and are affected adversely by it. It just sucks. So we really want to try and like build the game in such a way that's not optimal. So people aren't like, in order to fight this final boss, you have to do this with this build. No, we'd rather it to be like, if you're real lazy and you can't find any other way to bother playing this, sure, fine, have fun, go ahead. But if you want to really play optimally and you want to push hard, most builds, it's not going to be the right way to play.
Fools.
And I think that's a better way to handle it. That's probably not perfect, and if other things come up, well, we'll adjust how we approach it as it comes. Reposting question. I'm sorry I missed it. How do you feel about how dungeon layouts are generated? Yeah, okay, this is a different question. Sorry I missed this one. Particularly with the amount of dead ends in Soulfire Bastion. When its design encourages being cleared fully. Other dungeons also generate with sometimes high levels of backtracking, which can be quite frustrating. Yeah, this is not uncommon feedback. I don't have a solution for you yet. We're always working on stuff like this, though. That's all I can say right now. It's not perfect. I think that's the worst part about dungeons right now is the randomization systems we have in there are like I don't know the term to use for it, but it's a similar effect that you get in the Uncanny Valley. So like for anyone who doesn't know, the Uncanny Valley is a reference for realism and comfort and how good something is, basically. This is the uncanny valley here. This is how realistic, or how good it feels to look at something that's like artificially generated. So like you get like and it probably, I don't know, but the left side may actually start higher and it may drop off. I can't remember exactly what it is, but basically there's this thing that happens where when something gets close to being really good, but it's not quite there, the quality just like plummets, even though it's like getting better and better as we go. And the same sort of thing kind of happens with I think dungeon generation and layout, whereby like no randomization sucks because you start to, when it's something that's meant to be done over and over and over again, you learn it quite quickly and it becomes trivialized because you're just like, okay, I go left here, I go right here, yada yada yada. And that's really good for specific things, but I think in an RPG that's not ideal if the plan is to do it quite repeatedly, like it is for dungeons, which are also fairly short. And so we're kind of in this weird spot where like we've got some randomization, but it's not quite good enough, and it's starting to cause problems, and we might be dipping into that valley a little bit. And I know it's a little bit different and everything, but that's kind of what it feels like a little bit. And as with everything else, it's like we're still working on it. It'll get better. We'll improve it. Oh, nothing here. All right, backtrack. I think that's one of the first times I've had to backtrack in here, though. Not total, just this run. Maybe I'm just getting lucky. But also because it's not incentivizing clearing the whole thing, which I do want to urge as well that we are interested in incentivizing, not necessarily clearing the whole thing, but having situations where you want to deviate from the path of your primary goal to look for secondary objectives, to look for extra things that might be there that are worthwhile to look for. And I know it's really vague, but that's the sort of thing that we are interested in incorporating, not only into dungeons but also into monoliths as well, which I think is the main thing missing from them. Yeah, maybe I just got real lucky here, but I did one backtrack and that felt smooth. Smooth. Yeah. Alright, boss fight time! Let's all play with TKL keyboard. Yeah, so no numlocks. No num keys. I mean, that's the same thing about, okay, you can like you can simply oh, forgot about that. Huh. The main mechanic that happens there. I am really over leveled for this. Well, the map's in a weird spot. Is that new or has that always been like that? Nailed it. Hooey. Oh, hey. I'm not gonna bother with that. All right. So we are looking for exalted rings specifically. That's our goal here. But we want other stuff too. So our primary goal is exalted rings. So if we see that, we're gonna go for it pretty hard. Speaking of keyboards, I ordered a keyboard. My keyboard's been falling apart. There's like so many keys. Both shift keys have popped off. The right alt key, both control keys, the Windows key, and the spacebar are all just like popped off. I don't think I'm that hard with keyboards. This is the first keyboard I've had that's like fallen apart on me, and like, so I like really basic keyboards. It's like super simple. It's just like the keys with a red backlight and like super basic. It's like the most simple keyboard I could find. And I found a replacement, and it's been going around in circles in California for over a week now. It just keeps arriving back at the same facility. It's like they take it out and they bring it back every couple days. It's quite frustrating. All right. I started trying to like 3D print keys for it. Little like tiny keys that I'm trying to print to like replace the keys with. It's not quite working. My printer's not good enough. All right, so we're going to go for this one because it's really nice. Duplicate chests, yeah, that's nice. Never need idols. I don't need that. Additional exalted item to all chests. Yeah, sure. No, I don't need sets. For a weapon, exalted weapon, and unique weapon. That's nice. It's expensive though. Several exalted items. Yeah, we want exalted. We're looking for exalted rings, hopefully. Any runes? Nah, we're good. Exalted relics. You know, a relic's not great. Duplicates every chest. See, when they glow blue, that's the really, really fancy ones. The eyes get up and ooh. 30% more items. Let's do it. Additional exalted item. Yes. I know I'm just like cranking through the money and this is going to be ridiculous, but you know, let's have some fun with it, right? Helmet, body armor, a little bit of everything. Okay, we're done. Let's go in. Probably could have gotten some better stuff, but I was really going after those exalted rings. We'll see what I get. Oh, I didn't even fill the place. What did I do? That's what we call a fail. But oh my god, ring. I'm just looking at the rings right now. Like no rings. None of them got recolored to red either.
Pockets.
Which red means that it's got a lot of stuff I like on it.
I am not
That one's
a
not
man
bad.
of many pockets.
Yeah. It could have been better. Crit avoidance. Could reroll some of those. Not great. Okay, well, we'll do a little crafting on those and see what we can get to. And also, don't forget, when you're coming out, when you're finishing these, if you are doing it to skip, like this is the end of time skip, so you actually have to go through here instead of portaling out to do the skip. You should have the dev team as secret bosses as an Easter egg. I mean, so we considered having... I think it's a really cool idea. Let's throw a bunch of stuff on the ground. Make room for the stuff we just got. That's probably not that good. +3 shift is nice. There's not a lot in there, whatever. It's decent, I guess. If you're gonna roll stuff onto it. Okay, these are our rings that we've got so far. Got another ring right here as well. These are the rings we found. I'm gonna go do Soulfire Bastion. And once we've done Soulfire Bastion, I'm gonna go do Temple Sanctum. And then we're gonna go do some arena run stuff. Have some fun there. Level 1. I should have unlocked more of these, because this is gonna be just a cakewalk, sadly.
I cannot do that.
Just gonna roll through real fast. Might just do it quickly and then just do it quickly again.
I cannot do that.
Because I didn't quite unlock these things, which I should have. Alright, let's get some questions while I'm doing this here. Is there anything in the pipeline to redo dungeons? After you run through them 200 times, it gets a bit bland since nothing changes. I guess this goes hand in hand with what I was saying earlier. We do have plans to make the like randomization and replayability of them better, but like the core structure is not planned to change heavily. So yes, no. I think. I'm not sure how to answer that question properly. There's things about them that are being updated, but but like it's such a cop-out answer, because like I can say that for just about anything. Just be like, oh, it's being updated. Basically anything. A lot of stuff will happen first. Like, part of the problem, I think, about them is that there are so few of them. I think that's as big a problem as how the randomization system works. Any ETA multitasking? So if anyone wasn't here earlier, we are starting the onboarding process for community tester program on Monday. That does not mean multiplayer will start on Monday. That means that we'll start getting access to the Discord to new people on Monday, and it does not mean that if you don't hear on Monday, you're not getting in or anything like that. It means that some people will hear on Monday, and other people will hear later than that. But yes, it's going to start on Monday for the onboarding. There is no multiplayer test running right now. So also, when you do get invited to the Discord, that does not mean multiplayer starts for you at all. It just means that you'll be able to start getting ready for it. And you know it will happen at some point. Which I know is really vague and probably frustrating, but it's the only way we can do this and not have it just be a complete cluster. This is also going to be I think this is going to be the biggest onboarding we've ever done. So, it's gonna take a while, I think. All right. I see. It seems most ARPGs have sets, but usually seem to have a lot of problems with balancing and/or feel. I agree with that statement. In LE, they don't feel terrible, but in LE, they don't feel terrible in LE, but they feel very disconnected from the beautiful crafting system that exalted legendary items get to access. Yes, I agree with that. Any chance we get some new system to make sets more interesting, or would that be too much complexity for too little gain? So you do bring up a really good point about the complexity involved with set items. So set items are the tooltips are massive. The biggest tooltips in the game are set items by far already. Even with exalted, even with legendary item, well, okay, you get a 4 LP unique, like and you get some pretty big tooltips there, but we had to change the tooltip system, like where it positions the tooltip on the screen, because of set items, because they get so long, the text. So we're yes, you hit a good problem there. I think they need something. I'd really like that something to be different than what unique items get. And I don't know what that something is yet. We don't have any. We've talked about it a few times, and we don't have any answers to that question yet. Maybe remove the door from Julra. They are, for me, quite annoying. Sorry, I don't understand what that means. Would you think about D&D games? What do you think about D&D games like Baldur's Gate 3? Do you get inspirations from these types of games? Also, any plans on making End of Time map more interactive with NPCs, etc. About the game? Yeah, there's some more stuff coming for End of Time to sprinkle in there. With regards to CRPGs, is what I'm gonna call them, like Baldur's Gate style games. A lot of people on the team play them a lot. I don't play them a ton. I play some of them a little bit here and there. I played Pathfinder Kingmaker, I think it was called. I got partway through it. I had a lot of fun. Didn't have enough time to really finish it. Played some Baldur's Gate back in the day. I do really enjoy those types of games. I kind of get partway through playing them, and I'm like, I just want to play D&D with my friends, though. And I'm like, this is I feel like those games are great stopgaps for people who play a lot of D&D and want to play more of it, but don't have the time to like organize those types of things. Recently started playing Gloomhaven Jaws of the Lion, which is, it's very similar to Gloomhaven. It's basically exactly the same, just a bunch of stuff's been streamlined and just made a little nicer and works a little bit better. And it's a little bit smaller scale as well. But yeah, it's having a ton of fun with that so far. We're like just done the tutorial basically. Yeah, so we're gonna buy a bunch of rings and hope we get awesome stuff. Rare ring, nah. Rare ring, nah.
Nice one.
Hey, exalted ring, nice.
Oh, lucky you.
Yeah, lucky me is right. Yeah, void res in there. Fire res, our two highest resistances. Yeah. All right. What else? What can we grab? Let's grab. Try gloves.
Yeah, lucky you.
Not bad. I mean, don't hate those. Can almost craft on this something not terrible. My control key just popped off. Alright. Let us go to Temple Sanctum. Oh, I said I was going to do that one again. Let's just go to Temple Sanctum. Whatever. As far as, sorry, I was talking about CRPGs and I kind of trailed off about pulling inspiration. I think because we have so many people on the team that play so many different games and different backgrounds, they get inspirations from all these different things, and those things seep into the game no matter what. They're in the back of your mind when you're working on something. They kind of become part of your like the way you think about games and things like that, and it's important to have various perspectives in all these things. I really should have unlocked more of these. Am I gonna have? Oh, it's a tiny, super low level unique. We're fine. We're fine. Let's roll through this real quick.
More rats come to gnaw at the edges of my sanctum.
Yeah. Yeah, girl.
Fools! Fools! I cannot do that.
Got any more questions for me? After you do this, I got another little teaser for you. Yeah, the icon doesn't show up right, and you can walk right through. Right. Oh, alright. Was this build using bugged interaction between Surge and Static, where it doesn't cost mana? Yeah, I think so. It's fun though.
How is this possible? Only I should be able to command time here.
Nuh-uh.
Unless...
I am the Time Lord. Wait, wrong IP. 2 months since last patch, and I'm wondering why you aren't pushing out the performance updates before 0.9. Would be beneficial for everyone playing up until 0.9 comes out. They are intrinsically linked to many other parts of the game. Doing so would also occupy a large portion of our development team, QA team, production team, a lot of people to prepare that patch.
Finally, I will have its power.
So it would push, if we did that, it would simultaneously delay 0.9 and reduce the amount of content that appeared in 0.9. And so basically we figure it's better to, because we're on a bit of a tight timeline for getting to launch, because we want to get there as soon as we can. The difference between getting to launch a couple months earlier with more stuff is a big deal. So every time we can save a little bit of time, if it's reasonable to do so, we will. Yeah. If the current performance is game breaking for you, I'm really sorry. It should be pretty good though. Like in the most, like I do not have a super powerful computer. I have a pretty good computer, but it's not like it was a nice gaming computer 3 years ago, 4 years ago. You know, it's that type of computer.
I will have it.
But we're we're working on it. We're getting there. We a bunch of stuff.
Escape is impossible.
Okay, we're gonna do this again because this was just too easy.
Still so much.
Hey, nice. Another exalted ring. I'll take it. Of course. Okay, let's do a little crafty craft first and get the ideal ring that we're gonna do this with. So first we gotta pick which ring we're gonna do. So which one has the best stats? It says crit chance and poison res, which are both worthwhile. So there's 2 worthwhile stats there. This is crit avoidance, but it's exalted, so it's really worthwhile stat. We can try and use the forging potential to fix it some more. That one's pretty good too. The crit avoidance is really nice. I don't think we'll do that one. These are the same. Oh yeah, these are the same. I forgot that was what was happening. Lightning damage, poison res, that's nice. The throwings, I really want to avoid that. So, let's see what happens when we craft this. I was just doing that, covering it, wasn't I? Sorry. Okay, let's see what happens when we roll these into something else. Poison res? Yeah, I do like poison res right now. That would be worthwhile. Let's see what we can roll these into. Spell damage? That would be worthwhile. Poison damage, not good. Okay, that's pretty great. There's 3 stats I'd be happy to hit. That one's only 2. Yeah, the fact that that's a T5 and that's a T6, I'm not even gonna try this. We're going with this one. We're going here. We're going here. So we're hoping to hit the crit strike avoidance, poison res. Basically, just we don't want the poison damage. Anything with the poison damage. That's okay. That's okay. I definitely don't have backups prepared or anything like that. That would be just unethical, wouldn't it? Let's go. You have those bar that block you from going straight ahead when you go the other round. Yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah. Just the blockers. Yeah. Yeah. So this is what we were talking about earlier about having the dungeon randomization and that system, the way that works, that it doesn't check to avoid hitting like roadblocks, so that you have to backtrack. Now you can generally just hit D and jump to the other timeline and find a way through a lot easier that way. Also, if you're on Rogue, there's a little bug where you can dash through some of them. So I'm trying to get a key out, and I'm blanking on where I am. Second one, level 80. All right, this is gonna be a lot harder, and I'm fine with that. Would it be possible to reduce the frequency that snake enemy voice lines in combat? I think we need just more variance in a lot of the voice lines, because I do get stuff about reducing frequency of voice lines for player and enemies. If you've got requests, this I also want to be clear as well. Like I know I sound a little I want to say dismissive of suggestions that come through here, and I'm sorry if that's the case. I'm not really sitting here taking notes on feedback and requests and things like that. So if you've got requests or feedback that you really want to get heard by us, please head on over to Discord, or there's channels in our Discord specifically for feedback. The Aesthetics channel is not for feedback. If you have questions for us about how things work or reasons behind us doing things or something like that, sure. But if you got feedback or suggestions, please use the appropriate channels. And then also the forum. That's probably the best place is the forums. There's specific spots for feedback and suggestions, and you can get nice dialogues with other people going there. And I read way more of the topics than I reply to. So if you're like, oh, they didn't reply to mine, they didn't see it, chances are we read it. Chances are a bunch of us read it. It's just way faster for us to read them really quickly and absorb as much as we can instead of replying to them, because as soon as we get we try and engage as much as we can, but as soon as we do get into one of those conversations, it stops us from reading another dozen of them because we're replying to the reply, and then like it starts a conversation, which is great. We love having the dialogue, but we can't reply to all of them, and we want to read all of them. So if you don't get yours replied to, I'm sorry. It doesn't mean we're ignoring it. I promise.
I cannot do that.
Oh. Oh. Like that. That's what you're talking about right there, isn't it? It's okay. That's not the dungeon. The dungeon goes this way. And that's alright. I should be reading what that is and checking to see if I even like it. Speaking of mechanics, I'm not very skilled when it comes to automotive repair, but speaking of mechanics that all ARPGs seem to have, I noticed that Last Epoch doesn't have sockets. Kinda true? I'll explain why in a second. Is this something that the team plans to implement? Maybe. They are treated pretty differently by each game they show up in, and would be curious to see what each just does different with them. Or do they just not play well with the existing crafting system? Kind of hit the nail on the head. So, I'm going to describe the Diablo 2 socket system. You have specific items that their primary use, we're ignoring crafted items in Diablo 2 for a second, so where you put like a rune, a gem, a magic item, and a jewel in, and it crafts an item specific, and there's like a recipe and everything. Ignoring that for a second, you have these items, gems, and their primary property is to be socketed into items to provide a specific set stat to that item. Once it's been put in, the item has that stat. It can be modified and removed with certain other crafting systems, but for a basic, super simplified version, it's a permanent thing that gets added to the item. So it's a permanent upgrade by socketing one item into another, combining the two effectively. So using a single crafted stat item to add it to another item, and there's a set number of those slots that you can put items in. So you can get 4 socket items and put 4 stats in it. This sounds mighty familiar to some other system I'm looking at here, huh? Huh? And so I know it's not exactly the same, but there's a ton of similarities to it. And every time we've sort of come up with socketing systems that are relatively normal, so like similar to Diablo 2's, items have stats, you put them in your other items that give you stats to that item. That style of socket system, which is probably the most common. PoE's is very different. It's really difficult to justify the socketing system when you have a crafting system like ours. We definitely have a few ideas for socketing-esque things and how that could work. Because socket systems have a really wonderful property that's intrinsic to them, where you are collecting, and it's a little different, and this is the main difference between socket systems generally and our crafting system, is that the primary things you're socketing into them are bigger ticket individual items that can be rare and worthwhile on their own. So you can get there's almost 0 shards that you'd ever be like, oh my god, yay, I found a burr shard, or oh, I found a Zod shard. Like, who cares? There's no shards that are that important or that rare. And we do try and get a little bit of that feeling with the rare glyphs and runes for having those like crafting rare infrequent drops. Little off topic here, but what I'm kind of getting at is having a separate system that one of the things that crafting systems like that do really well is you have split drops. So this is one thing that runewords do so well, is you're trying to make an enigma, and you have these 3 really difficult pieces to get. I'm talking about the armor base, not the Eterra in the middle. So you have jaw, burr, and the item base. And I say the item base because you're spending so many high level other things, you're probably going to take some time to find a really nice base to put it in. And you can find each one of these 3 pieces individually, and they all hold value for other things as well. You could put a dragon rune word in your armor instead. I think that's 3. You could put is that shield weapon only? There's other 3 socket rune words you could use. There's not very many. But you could use that armor for something else. You could use that jaw rune for a last wish. You could use that burr rune for a infinity. really hoping I'm right with all these references. I could be wrong. And so they all have value on their own for other things, and you collect them piece by piece. And so you're excited when you get one of these super rare pieces to the puzzle that you're going to eventually make something awesome with. And um, and that interaction is a really important part of what makes classical socketing systems so good, so awesome, is that you're not necessarily finding the item all at once. You're finding pieces to it that you know are going to go towards building this awesome item later. And so, in a sense, talking about a socketing system in that sense, we've definitely thought of a few things like that and plan to do for that. And we kind of were trying to draw that feeling in with the legendary system a little bit, where you get that unique item with legendary potential, and then while you're looking for that exalted, it's possible you can find an even better unique with legendary potential, or you find that really great exalted and that you're gonna use for it, and then you while you're looking for the unique to do it, you may find an even better exalted for it. So you can you're finding the two pieces and putting them to make the one really awesome item that you can even use part of it in the meantime as well. And so that type of item finding, hunting, crafting style of combination system, that property of it is really important, that we do really like. And there's definitely aspects of that we'd like to maintain, and if we were going to do a socketing system, we would look for in it.
I cannot do that.
Oh, no. Did that okay, not great. So I should run and charge up.
Impossible.
Impossible!
I cannot do that.
Fool. Still so much to learn.
That's what I'm talking about. Let me pick it up. Alright. Attempt number 2 on a slightly less good one. This one. Alright, which ring are we gonna do? Let's try and find the right ring. Flip me over to the other side. Which ring are we gonna use? Are either of these even worth it? That's kind of junky. Endurance threshold's nice. It's real nice. Yeah, that's definitely the one we're doing, isn't it? I mean, that's definitely the one we're doing. Okay, let's craft this up as high as we can. Lightning damage first. Nice. Nice. Looks like I just didn't even craft on it. Alright, I'll take it. Alright, here we go. Round 2. Ideally, endurance threshold and really anything. Oh, not the lightning res. Endurance threshold and one of the other 2 stats is what we want. But we're definitely going to hit on one stat that we want no matter what. So we're definitely replacing this. Alright, I gotta go. Time travel. 25 fortune potential left? Yeah, I guess I could have rolled for better stats, couldn't I? Well, too late now. Yeah, get that endurance threshold. Yeah. All right. That's fantastic. Our lightning res isn't even capped, so that is great. Oh, that's awesome. All right. I'm just checking. You're gonna go away. Bye bye. Wow. Nice. Nice. Got some fun in the arena. We got 15 minutes left. Let's do some stuff. Question here: is the bazaar still planned, or was it scrapped? It was scrapped. Will multiplayer revolve around trading as a general design? Not revolve around. No. Is it planned for the future, even if trading will not come in 0.9? The comment you're referring to is something I did 2 weeks ago, and I really am sorry about that comment. It was very misleading, and I did a very poor job of what my job is. What I said last week was trading won't come. What I was referring to was we hadn't planned to have a, hey, you random person in the world. Hey, you random person in the world. Let's open a trade window. Let's put each of our items into the trade window. Let's press accept and have our items switch. That is what I was referring to as not being planned for 0.9. I got cool stuff to show. I got so much cool stuff. I just keep forgetting. I'm having fun. That's the problem with this. I have fun and I get distracted. Here is a mid-tier acolyte armor set. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Don't forget to drink lots of water, kids. Feels good. Yeah. I really love having, like, we get these like custom made models now, and even the ones that aren't like super high end ones. It's really just gonna bring a lot to the leveling experience, and just having the game feel fun and feel more alive and real and interesting. And I see all these things that the artists come up with, and I'm blown away by it. We're just gonna go endless and see what happens. Have some fun with it. It's at level 100. Did I put a memory in or something? 82. Okay, cool. We good. Oh, that new ring, so strong. I can feel it already.
I cannot do that.
Any chance of specialty stash tabs? Maybe one that stacks keys. Okay, there will be something for keys. Whether or not that's them stacking or a key ring is yet to be seen, but there will be something to make keys not suck like they do now. Because it's a problem, especially because we're planning on having more keys for more types of dungeons, etc. Like, there will be a solution for keys. Don't worry, we didn't get there yet. But the key solution is coming. Whatever that means, I don't know. Let's actually just get a little something. But yes, key solution on its way, will happen. Don't worry. As for tabs that like specific types for tabs and things like that, we haven't touched the tab system in a year, probably more. There's definitely room for a lot of improvement, and that is something that will happen. I don't know when that's going to happen specifically. Possibly when the tab system is only mildly functional for multiplayer right now, so you only have one tab and you can't get any more right now. It's funny, it feels a lot like playing Diablo 2 back in the day, where you're like, I have no space to store things. Oh my god. And you're like using mules to like store stuff. But yeah, that'll get fixed and everything still. And we'll probably have some upgrades that happen at a similar time, I think. Love that those crumble and collapse. They're not just like always the same. Oh, it's nice. So cool. So cool. Yeah, bud? Oh yeah, bud. Will the nice 3D models for items... With all the nice 3D models for items, will we ever see a transmog system? Possibly. We don't have that nailed down yet either, I'm sorry. But I think some sort of transmog system, yeah. What that looks like, I don't know. If it's... There's lots of good references out there in different games. So some games have limited transmog systems whereby each item can only be transmogged once, or you have to get an item to do the transmogging. Sometimes games have just completely like, have you ever picked up an item that looks remotely like this? You can make this other item look like it, no problem. That's like Diablo 3. If you've like ever picked up an item like any base that you can make anything look like that. And so there's like, and like WoW, I haven't played WoW in a while, so I don't know exactly how it works. But I'm pretty sure WoW's is like, you can pay $10 to get an item that lets you transmog one thing one time. So those are kind of the extreme example ends. I suspect we'll be somewhere in the middle of those two things. Like, somewhere in between those two. Along that spectrum. Just going. Just push. Who needs items, right? Pumped we got that ring. Even though I'm going to abandon this character for next week, I'm having a ton of fun with it, and pumped that I got an upgrade for it. I kind of set that up intentionally with the 2 LP that was ready to go. Like, I'll find something to put in there. But I'm happy it was a really good one. And that just if you're ever considering doing this build, that ring that I had there with 2 LP on it is a level 12 ring. So getting 2 LP on a level 12 ring is not unreasonable at all. It'll take a while, but it is doable. More questions. I got more questions. I love questions. They sustain me. They've got electrolytes. It's what plants crave. Alright. I see what you did there, the key solution. Yes. Maybe a keyring that you have to do some super long, very annoying quest chain. every like you have a quest chain that starts, and at the reward for every link in the quest chain is a link in the keychain. So you like have to build this keychain, and eventually it gets big enough that you can hold like a second key in your keychain. But it takes like hours to do. So you're like 20 hours in, and you're like, oh, I got my 4th link in my keychain. I can hold 3 keys now. Yes. I'm kidding. We're not doing that. That sounds terrible. But having it associated with the quest is that's not a terrible idea. Honestly, it would probably just be something that would just happen, like. Just like similar to this, where it's just like there's a new UI for it. There's like a little key button that opens a keyring. Oh! Pro tip: don't take your hands off the keyboard. Oh yes. That shrine. Oh, that shrine.
I cannot do that.
Those mortars. Supposed to all blow up. What's happening? Is that not in this? That's not in this version. They all blow up when you blow up one of them now. And I'm like, why are they all blowing up? I'm so used to it now. Alright, another question. 5 minutes left. Oh, don't die, Mike. Like, pretend you were gonna die, but don't instead. Yeah. Pro strats. Ba, 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 ba. Reference to One Small Favor in RuneScape? No, that was not a reference to that, unfortunately. Because I have never played RuneScape. I may have sat down. Oh, they do blow up. It was just a bug. Okay, whatever. I may have played for like 2 seconds once, but I've never played it, unfortunately. Sorry. Captivated the minds of a lot of people for a long time. Heard tons of great stuff about it. Never struck me. What was I playing when RuneScape 1 was big? I was playing like, I think Age of Empires 2, Diablo 2. I might be off on the timing here, but I was playing those late. I may have just got into Star Wars Galactic Battlegrounds at that point, which is the Star Wars remake of Age of Empires 2. Tons of fun. Jedi OP. I mean, who's surprised, right? What else is I playing? I don't know, it doesn't matter. Oh. Oh. This is a good week. I got one more thing to share. I have one more thing to share. It's a cool thing. After this wave 50.
I cannot do that.
We'll call it. I'm gonna share what I've got. We'll look at some more questions. If you've got any questions, here's your last chance to ask more questions. Boom. This is a void corrupted citizen. It's showing like you can see the sort of what's going on inside there as well. Oh. In the future, do you want to do expansions or seasons? Seasons? We're calling them cycles, but seasons. Remember to drink lots of water. I know I keep saying it, but I haven't been doing it enough lately. And I've noticed, like, you just don't feel as good. You don't drink enough water. Just tuned in. Game is great. Thank you very much. Not sure if it's been asked. Probably has started this question to say it like this. But is there a time frame when you guys hope to have multiplayer? We don't have any dates. I can give you a little bit of information. That will be like, well, when's that gonna happen? The answer is we don't know yet. So multiplayer will be out with the patch 0.9.0, which will be our next major release patch. On Monday, we are starting our onboarding process for our community tester program new intake, which is our sort of like, I guess, alpha branch where people come in and they test things that are really early and they're very janky, and we do not promise to present a product that's even remotely viable to sell. But they know that going in, and so we've opened up applications to that for the first time in a long time, and we're doing our first intake starting on Monday, and we're gonna do more after that. So if you don't hear anything on Monday, don't worry. It's not the end of the world. You might still get in. It's not a big deal. And at some point in the near future, after that happens, we'll be opening multiplayer up to those people to do some early tests. And when we're confident in 0.9.0, we'll release that. It will be after when we had previously said we were going to release patch 0.8.6, which is no longer happening. The original plan was for 0.8.6 to happen sometime in and around the rough general range of September. So it'll be after, somewhere in and around the rough general range of September. That's all the info we have for it right now. The other commonly asked question, in case anyone missed it and wants to ask it, the 3 missing master classes will be out by 1.0 at the latest. Possibly before, definitely not after. Hello, how you doing? I'm doing great. How are you? Just wrapping up the stream here and answered a couple last questions. Had a great stream. Tons of fun build. Next week we're playing the Acolyte. Next week we're playing Lich. I will look for a build that I think is really cool. If you have a build that you think is like, you're 100% sure this is the build, like you know it's the build, give me a ping on Discord or something. What's your favorite build right now? This one it's my favorite one I played in a long time. I really enjoyed Reign of Arrow Marksman and Reign of Javelin that I played recently. I was also really enjoying the Squirrel one. Basically everything I've played on stream for the last like 2 years I've really enjoyed. Any skill works, reworks, or new skills planned for the next patch as well? Yes. Will we receive a full campaign before official release? No. I can tell you that for sure. Partially because we have, like, the campaign is a living, breathing thing that's going to keep evolving and changing. Like, we have time travel as a primary core mechanic. Like, the timeline could change. Stuff could get a little messed up, if you know what I mean. Alright. You have all been fantastic. Oh, we got one more here. Are you able to say what combat style focus Falconer will have? Minion throwing, question mark. None of the Falconer skills exist yet, so they could change dramatically. So I don't really want to answer it. The Falcon will be a core featured part of your playstyle, hopefully. Trying to make a Falconless Falconer will be insane. Yeah. This would be like trying to make like a necrotic damage mage. Like, what? Alright, that's it. I will find someone to pass this over to. I had a ton of fun. I hope you did too.